One thing I realized while being in Johannesburg is that to understand South Africa, you have to listen first. Listen to the languages, the stories, the silences, and above all, to the music. Because here, music is memory, movement, identity. It carries everyone and everything else with it. Today, we're leaving town, the concrete and the high towers, and driving to something different. We're heading to Soweto. On our way, vast plains and small houses stretching for miles. Soweto, a name I've been hearing for years, through stories of injustice, civil rights, freedom fights, stories that break your heart, and heroes that shape how you see the world. But also through music, through dance, through culture. The only landmark I know is the nuclear power plant. We start walking down Vilakazi Street. It's lively, it's busy, it's more touristy than I expected, especially around Nelson Mandela's house. But we keep moving. We grab some local snacks, walk without a destination, just taking in the views, the texture, the architecture, and the life around us, because everything feels new. Then we got to the hostel, and the energy shifts a bit.
Welcome to Dube Hostel, where we get people who come from the homelands, who come to Joburg for work and other things. And this is how our government managed to allocate them by building hostels. And there's many of hostels here in South Africa. What we also need to remember is that the reason why they built all these houses or the hostel in itself, it was for their safety. My government is supposed to help with water, to help with electricity, to help with some infrastructure around the place because there is kids. They deserve to have a better environment, a nice, friendly environment. Just like
Comfortable and
everybody
yeah.
else, things we have around the neighborhood, they should also have. They're entitled to such. I mean, they are citizens. They are trying to upgrade the
Okay, that's
hostels.
fine.
And now we have a situation right now here in Dube where some of the upgrades were demolished. It's because there isn't an agreement between the government and the government of this hostel. My government needs to work together with the Indunas so that they can improve the structure that is there for the hostels. It's also been titled as the home of the thugs, criminals, and so on. It is not like that.
That's a yes.
It is not like
Okay.
that. For that matter, it could be the safest place to be or to walk around in because it has everybody that is responsible to taking care of the safety and the security of everybody that lives in the hostel.
Because the place is big, right?
The place is really big. There is another place if you move to the other side. The government has subsidized them with the containers so that they can
Oh,
try and live in there. So it's another one where you will see that our government is really, really not fair to the people and the citizens of South Africa.
this place holds history in a different way. It's where resistance lived, where movement started, where people fought for a better life. We were lucky to step inside one of them, didn't feel much to respect privacy as it's still people's home, but being in there honestly felt like stepping into another time. The rooms, the walls, the atmosphere, it felt frozen somewhere between the 70s and the 80s. Nothing really changed from when it was originally built. And for a long time, that era only meant one thing to me: pain, injustice, loss, violence. But during my stay in South Africa, somebody told me something that stayed with me. He said, the country's situation didn't stop people from having moments of happiness, from enjoying themselves and creating memories. And that pulled me out of a very tragic lens to remind me that even in the hardest times, people still find ways to live, to feel, to connect. And I realized how much music had to do with that sense of peace and healing. Yeah. Now, last stop of the day, the studio. And something so random happened when we got there. The studio manager opens the gate for us and he looks straight at my friends and says, Asia, wow, I listen to your music all the time. He brings us in and shows us her music video still playing on his screen. If that's not God's timing, tell me what it is.
Hey, that's Lago. Okay, okay, okay. That's God. That's God. Right
It's
there.
God, of course. Always him.
Look at this.
But anyways, the space felt good, the energy flowing, and the conversations we started having around were too good not to capture. So I took out my mics.
You guys just, I like the surprise how it came in, but yeah, yeah, yeah. It
But
happens. It's like this even now.
mhm.
Any call can come in. Someone trying to book.
I don't even know your name.
Oh yeah, we never go to that.
We
But
never go
yeah,
to that
I was
part.
already excited by seeing Azania, Azia. Oh,
Azania,
there's
that's your South
Azania.
African
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
name.
There's,
So, would you start by introducing yourself?
oh yeah, I'm Musa Wenkosi Ezra Ngubeni. My dad is a priest. My
Oh,
mom too. Yeah. So I grew up in church, and later growing up, I decided let me go pursue all my dreams with this music thing, and then came Musa. That's where I decided to mix these two names, Musa Nkosi Ezra. Musa, music. Musa Nkosi means grace, grace of God. Yeah,
Musankosi.
Musa Wenkosi.
Musa Wenkosi.
Yeah.
Okay, nice to
Yeah,
meet
yeah,
you. So we're here in your studio space.
yeah.
Can you just
Briefly.
give us a little description of where we are?
Oh,
Also, we're
yeah.
in Soweto, right?
Yeah, we in Soweto, Pefeni, and this is Trackside Creative. I'm a studio engineer and studio manager. So, hey, you guys caught me off guard, but yeah,
Surprise.
you surprised me. Yeah. This is a creative space for artists who daily work on their content. We also have a creative space again for live prints.
Okay.
Yeah, like as you were asking about these fabrics.
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah.
bags and everything.
Yeah. This was found by Mambiela Makeza. We were actually freelancers on the streets until the day he decided, let's get a base where we're doing all these things we always doing on the streets, and that's how Trackside comes up. I'm a sound engineer by profession, also bass player. I play keys. So I've been fascinated by sound design, and Mambela spotted that long time ago. So him creating this sport and calling all of us, there's me and the other folks are not around just now.
Okay. So it's really a creative hub. What can you say about the music culture here around here?
With that, the music culture, one thing I've noticed since I've relocated this site from 2013, I grew up in the Val.
Okay.
A lot of genres are happening here. The music culture lately here, it's weekends. During the week, we go to venues and have some jam sessions where you experience the live.
And where did you learn music? How did you learn how to make music?
Growing up in church, my dad used to have instruments there by our house, and even on the basement. My dad was a cameraman, so
Oh.
I was that naughty fiddling boy. So there was this Technics keyboard. It had a floppy disk, so I could play piano on it or organs and record. I didn't know what 12 keys were by then, but that just ensured that all these old cassettes can capture it. So there was this point my dad didn't have a pianist in church. So I only knew one song. Yeah, and it happened that day. The church sang it. So I went to the keyboard. I played that song. Avulekile Amasango. I think it's a very well known song.
avulekile amasango yelele oh oh avulekile amasango asezulwini oh yelele oh.
So when I played that song, I was told to just stay there during the service. The service was on, the sermon was also on. So I got encouraged by that. Also, my granny used to work here in Rosebank while I was ill. So she would also tie me on my feet with the piano, against the piano, so that I
Oh.
don't move around Mr. Sen's house
Like
there.
literally tie your legs to the piano.
Yeah, so that I don't move. So the piano was there. So I think the music the music thing started there.
But you
Yeah.
enjoyed to stay at the piano.
Actually, I would actually growing up, I would ask my mom, when am I going to see Granny? Because my granny would stay behind the house, Mr. Sen's house there. You know, those cottages where Makoko would stay cooking for Mr. Sen's kids and all of that.
This is a picture Musa sent me of Mr. San's wife with Mandela. Her name was Ellen Suzman. He would play her piano while his granny was cooking and cleaning their house.
I grew up inside of music. I've been trying to get into the mainstream, but almost all my whole life I've been behind the scenes. Great artists I can call out, some from Kalawa, some from Universal. There's a lot of them. So I've been focusing on myself lately, composing my projects while I'm also engineering, so that I can also feed this project. You know, this music thing also needs cash injections,
Intention,
to keep it running. Yeah.
Do you feel like it's you can still make a living out of it, or you always have to be in between creating and hustling? Because I feel like it's massive. I don't know if it's just an impression. You can correct me, but I feel like there's actually a lot of musicians. There's a lot of people investing a lot of time creating music,
yeah.
and there's so many different genres. I think we know much about amapiano, but there's so much also jazz and folk, and like we've met artists that is revisiting some of their traditional sound and making it either folk or like pop or like there's so many different things. So yeah, how is it balanced for everybody?
You know how I approach it? I actually approach it as a ministry. Like I check my lyrics when I play a song, or when I'm being called into a band to play with a band. Because I can say there's music that you can easily do for jingles or selling for library music, but one thing I've noticed, the approach of treating it as a ministry makes it easier for other people to request maybe or relate your music, because music does heal. So
You said it's healing.
yeah, music heals.
This is where we ended our day, and this is the show that deeply confirmed to me how music in South Africa is truly part of the healing process. Music is healing everywhere, of course. Here, something just felt different. Can you elaborate? Because I feel like from a foreigner coming to South Africa, we can see so much heaviness from history and like everything. There's a lot of new things that we're seeing here because the history of South Africa is very unique to the continent.
Oh yeah.
And on the other end, like your music was always part of fighting for your rights,
Oh yeah.
making space for black people and everything. So it truly feels like music is actually healing.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. It is. You know, it's like it's even like if you can really check our national anthem, ne, Nkosi Sikelel Africa. If you can check the history.
Hmm. South Africa's national anthem is sung in 5 different languages. It's actually made out of 2 songs combined into one, and it illustrates the story of a country trying to turn division into unity.
The song actually changed somehow. The song was actually a connection, a black man or white man talking to God.
Mm,
Ma kube njalo, kuze
okay.
kube kunaphakade. It's like the prayer, Our Father who art in heaven. It's like that, but how it was said that time, it was not easy to talk about God during apartheid.
Mm.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
You couldn't speak
yeah.
about God
Yeah,
during
it was
apartheid.
not so easy. It was
Wow.
especially like that being a cassette or something. They would
So wait,
ask you.
okay.
They would ask you. So they would ask, "What are you talking about, and for what reason?" So if you can listen to Hugh Masekela, most of his lyric, if you can listen to the lyrical content there, it's actually political. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So with music in South Africa, some people it's revolutionary, some people just use it to have just fun. You know, there's bubble gum, and there's hence I was saying to me, hence I was calling this baby of mine. Yeah, this is my weapon. I always have this. I always make sure I have this, electricity or no electricity. I have a story to tell when I have that instrument.
That's
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah.
Okay. Because yeah, I feel like yeah, it feels deep and the healing part is obvious. So I'm
Mm,
happy
mm,
it's what it is.
mm.
But you also said yeah, your music needs to be genuine, and you were talking about all this new way of now marketing your music, the ads and everything.
Oh yeah.
But I actually feel like if you really if you really observe the market, music doesn't work with strategy or
Mm-hmm,
business or
mm-hmm.
anything. If you don't have a genuine story, if you don't, your music doesn't come from your heart or anything, it's
Yeah,
not going to go anywhere, no
yeah,
matter
yeah,
how
yeah,
much money you're going
yeah,
to put for
yeah, yeah.
ads or anything. So you feel like that's how here it works as well. Like that's how.
Genuine, go genuine.
Mm,
I swear, even old lady granny would relate to your new music. It may be all quiet or actually like as we were talking about my piano. I see it like this as an engineer and checking the history of how it was made. My piano is actually birthed by Kwaito sound.
okay.
Yeah.
Wangrata, Akieta, Akieta so. Wangrata, Akieta, Akieta so.
Yeah, there's a chant, just like hip hop has its own chant. Black people would use it to say metaphors and stuff or revolutionary. So even now it came back again. Same beats, same
Mm,
everything, just modified there and there, but you can still see the bases are still that. Even the tempo and how the song chants.
wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And what do you feel like? Do you have any idea of why do you feel like Amapiano has been like touching everybody's heart. I feel like it's the music that has been traveling everywhere.
Yeah, it changed the world. I don't know how to put it. I think the vocabulary musically there, it goes easily to a human beings, yeah, because
Mm,
even how the structures are made, it's not your 32 bars composition, just simple 3 bars there,
mm,
but a very strong statement said there, yeah, something that would really,
resonates.
yeah. So hence I was saying there's approach to it,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, what do you think? Probably that will be my last question, but what do you think is the most unexpected reality about South African music? Because you guys are really known in the world.
Mm.
Like, I feel like no matter if it's for house, for jazz, for many things, like people know South Africa for the music. So, what do you think is probably the most unexpected thing that you guys have in your reality here that people that listen to you abroad will not even imagine?
Hmm. You see, hence I was saying, like, if you could listen these my piano songs, they actually built from genres that were there already, like your
Mm-hmm.
Maskandi, there's Mkobanyawo, there's Mpakanga, which is music that was found by musicians from that side, Durban, Natal,
Durban. Oh, okay.
yeah, KZN actually.
Mm.
So you'd find a piano song that has more than 4 genres in one.
But
And
it's
then
only you guys that know it. We won't know it.
you wouldn't know. Maybe
Oh.
it's like someone coming in to explain
Mm.
Pasada, or you see, oh, and Kizomba.
Oh, okay,
You,
okay,
you
okay.
see, and someone of my age maybe would just decide, okay, I've been hearing this for long now, and my great parents have been playing it like this. Let me try something new, and then comes out something
Mm.
like my piano. That's how all these genres evolve. I
Of
believe,
course.
I believe so. I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, so we
Um,
wouldn't know how to probably read like the different
mm,
genres of
but vibration will tell.
we'll feel
Yeah, vibration will
it.
tell. You could even tell.
Hmm.
Does this song bring in positive vibes,
Yes.
or
Elevated vibes.
yeah,
Yeah.
or there's ratchet music, to be honest with you, because the stuff that we know you never talk about. There's When I mean ratchet, I mean language that you couldn't just say on radio, on a live radio, where small babies
Mm.
listening, you know. But my
Mm. That's
piano
good.
changed the game for South African digital musicians, especially that do disco. The music goes a long way when you have to talk about sound design and where is it
Mm-hmm.
coming from. Like the lock drum, the famous lock drum you're hearing on my piano, that's actually a mallet instrument.
Oh.
Yeah, African mallet instrument.
Oh, okay.
Japanese decided to record that and put it into a bass.
But nobody used the instrument anymore.
They do. I think Funda Center still has,
Oh,
yeah, still has, but they actually, yeah, no, they
digitalized.
just
Yeah.
put them away, maybe for exhibitions or
Oh,
stuff. Yeah.
okay. That's so
Because
interesting.
there's few of them. We don't actually have them anymore. I don't even here in South Africa. I don't know of a company that does them. Yeah.
Mm.
Because people would do them. Yeah,
Oh, by
handmade,
themselves.
handmade. People like the likes of Mabeleng or Tlale Magene, they are mostly playing mallet and acoustic
Mm-hmm.
instruments. Yeah, no electricity. Yeah,
No
yeah,
electricity.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they're keeping the heritage raw
Yeah,
and acoustic
yeah. The only way you can get them digital is just getting the mic
to
onto the
record.
speakers.
Yes. Mm. Okay, so
Yeah,
there's still some of those.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to delay the jam session any
Yeah,
further.
I know
But
it's
is
true.
there anything you want to add, probably before?
Yo, I think the only thing I'll add, I still say again. I'm still stuck.
You're processing.
Yeah, I'm still processing that. I always listen to Aza. I always listen to her music, and for her to be here like this, I
Like you
still
just pull
blow.
up to your gate.
Yeah, I just blew up just like that. Yeah, it's a movie to me. Still, I'm still in that movie.
Yes.
It's a real one.
First
though.
time in
Yeah.
Joburg,
Yeah.
and we made it here.
Mm, mm. Yeah, it's
God's
God's plan.
plan.
God's plan.
100%.
Yeah, Lago. Lago.
Lago.
That's, yeah, Lago.
Lago. How'd you get? Which language do you speak? Zulu.
Zulu,
Yeah. So how do you say God in Zulu?
Unkulunkulu.
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 Yeah. Unkulunkulu, umkhulu. Yeah, umkhulu. Yeah, umvelinqangi. Yo, you see, yeah. Here's this thing about Zulu, Xhosa, and Zulu, and these other languages we speak in South Africa. Some would have a whole sentence to say who God is, just wait. Yeah, like
So it's powerful.
Yahweh, El Shaddai. You see, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for sharing all of this.
I'll
let you guys move on to the jam session. Let's make some music, I
Oh,
guess.
some music.
With Azia.
Okay.
Grateful for this real and meaningful day and for the kindness of everyone that made it so special. Before leaving Soweto, we made one last stop for Ekota. So, end of the day, getting some food. It's a local sandwich, it's massive, and it's so good.
Guys, it's like, how do you buy this thing?
And then we headed back down to the concrete and the high towers to finish the day with the most perfect way with this jazz show. That's honestly hands down one of the best show I've ever experienced in my life. I hope you enjoyed riding with us, and I hope to see you soon.